The NFL draft could change things for several veterans. We'll talk about the players who have the most to gain or lose right now on Fantasy Football Today in 5. What's going on? If you have a dynasty team or a keeper team and you have a starting wide receiver, you don't want to see that guy get a new teammate at wide receiver. You don't want to see that team take a first-round pick on a wide receiver or something like that. You may not want Kyle Pitts to have some target competition. And again, if you have Aaron Rodgers, you definitely want them to go get a wide receiver. You have Javonte Williams, you don't want them touching a running back until day 3. Let's talk about it. I'm Adam Mazur with Jamie Eisenberg. Players with the most to gain or lose. We'll start with a couple who have something to lose. And Javonte Williams, you think, I mean, it's obvious, but I guess what would it take for Javonte Williams to not be a loser when the draft wraps up?
To not be a loser when the draft wraps up, that we get to day 3 and in the 6th or 7th round, they draft a running back and they say, you know what, we're good with our depth. We like our backfield. We like our running back room.
Round 4, though. I mean, let's say it's round 4. Would that bother you?
Not so much, but I mean, I think it's more if somebody slips, I mean, if like an Isaiah Spiller slips or, Dameon Pierce slips or one of those guys, that's in the closer to the top group. I don't think we're going to see, Breece Hall or Ken Walker get there. But, if somebody's like, I just don't see Rashaad White as a guy that's going to go in the first 3 rounds, running back from Arizona State. And then we get to the 4th round and the Broncos are like, it's too good of a value to pass up on. So someone along those lines, I think that's where you get a little bit concerned.
Okay, another player that you think has a chance to lose is Juju SmithSchuster. And I talked about this on the Monday full-length episode with Dan and Dave and Ryan. So the Chiefs took Chris Olave in this mock draft in the 1st round. And I guess the question is, let's say they take a running back in the a wide receiver in the 1st round. Do you think you would rank Juju or that rookie higher?
I'd probably rank Juju higher, but the appeal for Juju right now is that he's looking like the guy, and it's really more of would be a loss, not necessarily just for Juju, but obviously Mecole Hardman and Marquez Valdes-Scantling as well. I think we're looking at Juju as okay, back with a upper echelon quarterback. I clearly where Mahomes is now is better than anywhere Ben Roethlisberger was at Juju's best, seasons. And Andy Reid and this offense and all those things. But, Juju, I think, needs to be clearly the focal point of the receiving core. He's not going to be the focal point of the passing game as long as Kelsey's healthy, but he needs to be, I think, the focal point of the receiving core. And if they do what we expect them to do, which is spend a day 1 pick on a wide receiver, worst case scenario, a day 2 pick, maybe on multiple receivers, then it's clearly bad news for Juju's fantasy value.
Juju and the Chiefs have 2 picks in the 1st round, both toward the very end of the 1st round. Okay, Aaron Rodgers has something to gain here. So where is he now in your rankings? And you can name their wide receiver that they take in the 1st round. Where would you move Aaron Rodgers?
Right now he's 15th. I probably wouldn't move him that much higher, but I would obviously be more inclined to draft Aaron Rodgers, whereas now I'm not as inclined to draft him. I mean, look, they need to address this position. We know what the story has been throughout his tenure there. They don't give him first-round caliber players, certainly first-round caliber wide receivers. They've gotten guys that have played that way, but, they just don't draft them that way. And so the question would become, again, how much capital do they invest at the position? And hopefully we do get a round 1 pick at that spot, whether it's, one of the Ohio State guys, Treylon Burks, you see a lot of Jahan Dotson going there or to the Chiefs, just based on him being one of the latter 1st-round pick type of players. George Pickens, another guy you see mocked to them as well. So there's a lot of directions they can go. I don't think it's going to necessarily change what Aaron Rodgers is for me from a ranking standpoint, because I still like, right now at least, Derek Carr and Kirk Cousins better, as gross as that may sound. But I just think their fantasy outlook's a little bit better right now. But Rodgers obviously be in much better standing if the receiving core gets some significant help, hopefully day 1.
And how come you had Kyle Pitts as someone who could stand to gain here? Do you want to see them add somebody?
I want to see them get a quarterback. It's more about the long-term future. Marcus Mariota is going to start the season clearly. Even if they go get a Malik Willis at 8, or they trade down or trade back into the 1st round later, to get somebody else. However this all shakes out, but I don't think Marcus Mariota is the answer. So you want to know who Kyle Pitts is going to be paired with, for the next at least 3 to 5 years, or 3 to 4 years, based on how are you having played his rookie season. So I just want to see what the outcome of this draft is for the Falcons from their quarterback standpoint. It really has nothing to do with the receiving core. You'd like to see them address that position as well, just to take maybe some pressure off of what Kyle Pitts is going to be dealing with. But I do think that you know who the quarterback is. Hopefully it's a guy that can grow with Pitts and enhance Pitts. That's the best thing that we'd be looking for the Falcons tight end.
A reminder, we will be on the air when the first round wraps up and when the second round wraps up, and at some point on our second and third rounds, and on some point on Saturday when the entire NFL draft wraps up. We will have podcasts to react. So thanks a lot to Jamie for his time now. He's going to give us a lot of time later this week as well. Have a great day, everybody. We'll talk to you tomorrow on Fantasy Football.